Multiple system atrophy, also known as MSA, is a rare neurodegenerative disorder that often shares symptoms with Parkinson's disease, but has a progression similar to ALS. A few of the symptoms include slow movement, stiff muscles, and slurred speech. There are anywhere between 10,000 to 50,000 people living with MSA in the U.S., and it's important for patients living with MSA to understand this disease and to find an advocacy group that will help you navigate the research and medical world of MSA.
Multiple system atrophy is a rare neurological disease. It is a mixture between Parkinson's and ALS. Clinically, a patient will look like they have Parkinson's disease and will actually initially be misdiagnosed with Parkinson's. And as the disease progresses, they'll be re-diagnosed with MSA. And MSA has a similar size patient population and progression as ALS.
MSA is a clinical diagnosis, which means it's based on the symptoms that a patient has and the findings that a clinician will discover on physical exam. So because this is a complex and rare diagnosis, usually patients are seen by multiple providers before they receive the diagnosis. Usually it's a neurologist that will make the diagnosis based on the history and the physical exam findings. The symptoms that patients with MSA usually experience are difficulties with movement and also difficulties with their autonomic nervous system. So there are two main subtypes. In one type, patients may present with symptoms similar to Parkinson's disease, such as rigidity, slowness in movement, and tremors. The other subtype is characterized more by problems with coordination and balance. In addition, patients will have symptoms of what we call autonomic dysfunction. So the autonomic nervous system is a part that controls a lot of the other functions of our body, such as blood pressure or digestion that we're not always aware of. So patients often experience difficulties in these areas as well. So unfortunately, there are no medications currently available that are specific for treating MSA, although there are several currently under investigation in clinical trials that we hope will be available in the near future. However, there are many medications to help with symptoms. For example, some of the medications that we use for Parkinson's disease may be helpful for some of the movement symptoms, or there's other medications available to help with symptoms of low blood pressure. It's also very important for patients to have a timely evaluation by a team of interdisciplinary specialists with experience treating MSA. For example, a movement disorders specialized neurologist, a physical therapist, speech-language pathologist, or others depending on the patient's individual needs.
We are here to help by making the MSA journey easier to navigate for patients and their care partners through resources that provide education around symptom management, how to assemble their care team, exploring clinical trials, and the latest updates in MSA research. At Mission MSA, our vision is to improve the quality of life for the MSA community by expanding access to care and support while also advancing research toward treatments and a cure.
So Mission MSA exists to really support the entire multiple system atrophy community. We do this in numerous ways. First, we want to raise awareness about what multiple system atrophy is. Most people have never heard of this disease, and that makes it really challenging for the patient, the provider, and to advance the understanding and awareness so that we can therefore helpfully find a cure.
Well, my journey with MSA began well before diagnosis. I was struggling with different physical symptoms, and my doctors were sending me to specialists. Each one had a cure for that particular symptom, but no one looked at it in whole, and nothing that they suggested worked. And so it wasn't until I changed general practitioners that he put it all together and said there's something neurological. Before we finished our discussion, ordered an MRI, and that's when my official journey with MSA began. Thank God for Mission MSA, because that's the first place I went to. We've used it to help educate our family, both our kids and our extended families about it. Another thing I think that's critically important about this organization is that it's also been a help to my professionals. My PT, my OT, my doctor, all have relied on information from Mission MSA. And I think that's rare for an advocacy group. Serves patients, caregivers, family members, and professionals.
We also raise advocacy by letting our elected officials know about what the disease is and how they can positively impact the needs of our specific community. We also provide education and community support to our patients with multiple system atrophy through online community connections such as MSA Connect, peer support groups, education. It's all designed so that no matter what way you connect with the MSA community, there's a place for you and a resource that's available. And lastly, we are really focused on research by providing direct funds to primary investigators, physicians, and researchers who are interested in learning more about the disease and pursuing novel hypotheses. But we share a lot of biology with Parkinson's. So we work with other rare disease organizations to bring us together so that we can hopefully try and find an applicable therapy for other atypical Parkinsonisms. Mission MSA was founded in 1999 around a dining room table in Texas, and it was a lot of care partners and physicians that really wanted to get together to understand what is this disease and how does it really impact a person. And it really grew as we learned more and more about what multiple system atrophy is. From just building a community and asking questions to actually creating resources that a patient could take to their neurologist and say, hey, this is this disease, I think maybe we should look at this. All the way through providing direct grant funding to researchers, basic scientists, to really explore ways to potentially cure this disease.
To learn more about Mission MSA or to donate, visit missionmsa.org.